Assalamu alaikum everyone. In embryology series, we are going to discuss lecture number 5 at Mind of Science with Muhammad Jamshed. Today, the topic of our discussion is development of genital system, mean human reproductive system. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the development of the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. So first of all, we should know what is the genital system. So let us look what is genital system. Basically, genital system is a collection of internal and external sex organs which work together for the purpose of sexual reproduction. So genital system is a collection of some internal and some external sex organs, and these internal and external sex organs are responsible for the purpose of sexual reproduction, right? So the development of these reproductive organs begins at an early stage in the embryo. When the embryo is at an early stage, there will be the development of these reproductive organs, that is internal and the external organs. And we know that there is a close link between the development of genital system and the development of the urinary system, because in our previous lectures when we discussed about the development of the urinary system, we learned that there is a close relation between the development of urinary and the genital system. Why? Because of the common origin of the development, that is the intermediate mesoderm. So intermediate mesoderm is the common origin for the development of genital system and the urinary system. So let us look what are the components of the genital system. So first component is the pair of gonads. Male gonads are called testes and female gonads are called ovaries. And the second most important component of the genital system is the duct system of gonads to carry the germ cells. So duct system is responsible for carrying the germ cells from the gonads, and male duct system consists of efferent ductules, epididymis, ductus deferens and ejaculatory ducts, right? And female duct system consists of uterine tubes, uterus and vagina. And the third most important component of genital system is the external genitalia, male external genitalia and the female external genitalia. So pair of gonads, duct system of gonad to carry the germ cells, and the external genitalia are the components of genital system. So let us do brief introduction. We know that genetic sex XX or XY of an embryo is determined at the time of the fertilization. So what is fertilization? Fertilization is basically fusion of sperm with oocyte or egg, right? So when sperm fuse with egg, there will be the formation of zygote and further embryo. So the genetic sex of embryo is determined at the time of the fertilization. So embryo's chromosomal sex is determined at the time of the fertilization by the genetic studies. Suppose that is the sperm and that is the egg. So when the sperm fuses with the egg, there will be the formation of the zygote, right? So if the sperm carries X chromosome and after fusion, the zygote will have the sex chromosomal complement, that is XX, and there will be female sex of the embryo. And if that sperm carries Y chromosome, then there will be the development of the zygote or the embryo that have the sex chromosomal complement, that is XY, that is the male sex of the embryo. So we know that sex is determined by the type of sperm, X or Y, that fertilize that oocyte. So it is the father who gamete decides the sex, either it is male or either it is female, right? Zonal reaction is not our concern. It is a change in the properties of zona pellucida that makes it impermeable to other sperms to prevent further polyspermy, right? So second important thing is that but the gonads do not acquire male or female morphologic characteristics until 7th week of intrauterine life. So until 7th week of intrauterine life, gonads do not differentiate into the male gonads or into the female gonads, mean testes or ovaries. They do not acquire male or female morphological characteristics. The earlier genital system is similar in both sexes. Until 7th week of intrauterine life, there will be no differentiation of genital system, either it is male genital system or either it is female genital system. There is a similar genital system, and this period of earlier genital development that is similar in both sexes is called the indifferent or the primitive stage. So what is indifferent or the primitive stage? It is a stage of in the development of genital system in which genital system is similar in both sexes. Gonads do not differentiate into the male or the female gonads, right? The differentiation of the indifferent gonads to the ovary or the testes occurs during the 7th to 12th week of intrauterine life, and this stage is called the definitive stage. On the basis of the sex chromosomal complement, when it is a XX complement, there will be the differentiation of gonads into the ovaries, right? And if there is a sex chromosomal complement, that is XY, there will be the differentiation of the gonad to the male gonad, that is testes, right? And this occurs during the 7th to 12th week of intrauterine life, and this stage is called the definitive stage, differentiative stage, because there is the differentiation of indifferent gonad to the ovaries or the testes during this stage. So we look at the indifferent or the primitive stage and the definitive stage, right? And we will further discuss these stages, indifferent or the primitive stage and the definitive stage, in our coming lecture, right? Now we look at the sources of the gonadal development, right? So there are the three sources. First is the primordial germ cell, second is the intermediate mesoderm, and the last one is the coelomic epithelium covering the gonadal ridge, right? Primordial germ cells, intermediate mesoderm, and the coelomic epithelium covering the gonadal ridge are the sources from which gonads develop. Here is the yolk sac. At the wall of the yolk sac, close to the attachment of the allantois, there are the presence of the primordial germ cell. So these are the primordial germ cells that are present along the wall of yolk sac, near to the hindgut, close to the attachment of the allantois. In further, we will discuss the migration of the primordial germ cells, how they will differentiate into the gonads, right? Next is, this is the developing embryo. This is the mesonephros, in which mesonephric duct is present. This is the metanephros, right? And this is the yolk sac from where primordial germ cells are migrating through the dorsal mesentery into the primordium of gonad or genital ridge, right? What is genital ridge? We will further discuss it. So these are the primordial germ cells. This is the hindgut. Primordial germ cells are migrating towards the genital ridge or primordium of gonad, right? This is the hindgut. This is the hindgut, right? From where the this is dorsal mesentery. Primordial germ cells are going to migrate towards the genital ridge. In the genital ridge, yeah, that is primordium of the gonads. Next, we discussed that gonads develop from the three sources: intermediate mesoderm, coelomic epithelium covering the intermediate mesoderm, and the primordial germ cells, right? So these are the this is the intermediate mesoderm, right? This is a genital ridge that is present at medial to the mesonephric ridge or nephrogenic cord. So gonadal ridge is present medial to the mesonephric ridge, and these are the mesonephros. This is the mesonephric duct, and medial to the mesonephric duct, gonads are present in the indifferent stage, primitive stage. So in different stage, development of the testes or ovary is similar. Gonads develops in the intermediate mesoderm, medial to the middle part of the mesonephros. So this is the middle part of the mesonephros, where the gonads develop from the intermediate mesoderm, right? And this is the genital ridge, and lateral to the genital ridge there is presence of mesonephric ridge, or mesonephric ridge has genital ridge in its medial part. Primitive or indifferent stage of the development of gonads. During the 2nd to the 3rd week of intrauterine life, primordial germ cells appear in the wall of yolk sac close to the attachment of allantois. So here is a yolk sac. In the wall of yolk sac, primordial germ cells are present close to the attachment of the allantois, right? So during the 4th week of intrauterine life, an elongated genital ridge is formed by the condensation of intermediate mesoderm and the proliferation of overlying coelomic epithelium on the medial aspect of urogenital ridge along the posterior wall of coelom, right? Here is the coelom, this is the coelom, this is the posterior wall of the coelom, this is the intermediate mesoderm, and this is the nephrogenic cord or medial aspect of urogenital ridge. This is the urogenital ridge or nephrogenic cord. So medial to the nephrogenic urogenital ridge, there is a condensation of intermediate mesoderm and proliferation of coelomic epithelium. This leads to the formation of urogenital ridge. This is the nephrogenic ridge, and on the medial aspect of the urogenital nephrogenic cord, there will be the formation of the urogenital ridge. This is called the genital ridge, right? So medial aspect of the nephrogenic cord and along the posterior wall of the intraembryonic coelom, there will be the condensation of intermediate mesoderm and the proliferation of the coelomic epithelium. This lead to the formation of genital ridge. So during the 4th to 6th week of intrauterine life, migration of the primordial germ cells occurs along the wall of hindgut and dorsal mesentery into the genital ridge. So here is the yolk sac where the primordial germ cells are present or close to the attachment of the lentoids. This is the hindgut. So primordial germ cells move through along the hindgut and the dorsal mesentery into the gonad or the genital ridge. This is the genital ridge, which is formed due to the condensation of intermediate mesoderm and the proliferation of coelomic epithelium. So primordial germ cells move along the wall of the hindgut and the dorsal mesentery into the genital ridge. This is the dorsal mesentery, this is the yolk duct, there will be the hindgut. So primordial germ cells are going to move along the dorsal mesentery into the genital ridge or the primitive gonads. The primordial germ cell induce coelomic epithelium to proliferate and penetrate underlying the mesenchyme to form finger-like primitive or the primary sex cords, right? So there is the migration of primordial germ cells. When the primordial germ cells reach this genital ridge, primordial germ cells induce the coelomic epithelium to proliferate and penetrate, and coelomic epithelium form finger-like structure that are called primary or primitive sex cords, right? And which at this stage are connected to the surface epithelium, and these primary sex cords are connected to the surface epithelium. The primordial germ cell, these are the primordial germ cells, invade the genital ridge and are incorporated into the primary sex cord. The primordial germ cells after induction incorporated into the primitive sex cords, right? So indifferent gonads now consist of an external cortex and internal medulla, right? When the primordial germ cells are incorporated into the primitive sex cords, there is a outer external region that is called cortex. This is called the cortex, that is the outer or external region of the indifferent gonads, and the internal region of the indifferent gonad, these finger-like gonads, are called the medulla, right? And further on the differentiation, during the 7th to 12th week of intrauterine life, if X chromosomal complement is present, this lead to the differentiation of the cortex into the female gonad, that is ovaries, and there will be the regression or degeneration of the medulla. But if the XY chromosomal complement is present, this lead to the differentiation of medulla into the male gonad, that is testes, and there will be the degeneration of the cortex. So what is definitive stage of the development of gonads? It is very simple. In embryos with an XY chromosome complement, if XY chromosome complement is present in embryo, the medulla differentiate into the testes. There will be the formation of the male gonads, and the cortex regresses, disappear. Whereas in the embryos with an XX sex chromosome complement, if XX sex chromosome complement is present, the cortex forms an embryo and the medulla regresses, right? So this is the cortex which lead to the formation of ovaries if XX chromosomal complement is present, and if XY chromosomal complement is present, the cortex disappear and the medulla will lead to the formation of the male gonad, that is the testes.